Happy Sunday. This is Raven Dana with Walking Between the Worlds. It is October 23rd and just a week and a day until Halloween. And yes, that is my little kitty, my familiar. Her name is Storm Shadow in the background. So, it's good to be here with you today. I'm going to talk a little bit about Halloween. If you've seen it written differently as a word that looks like Samhain, it's called Samhain or Samhain, depending on where you're from. So Samhain is not the way to say it. And I just want to talk a bit today about the connection with the ancestors and our connection with how to celebrate some things, some suggestions, to take a look at what happens when the proverbial veil between the worlds thins around this time of year. And for a very, very long time, in a lot of different cultures, there have been celebrations in the fall, in the autumn, that have to do with honoring the ancestors and welcoming the visits from our beloved dead. So I'm just going to give you a few ideas if you've never done that before, if you might be interested in doing that, some things that you might be able to do. So first of all, Halloween in and of itself, it wasn't always about candy and trick-or-treating. It used to be that what got carved was not a pumpkin, but turnips or gourds were carved, and carved in a scary way and set outside to chase away negative spirits, bad spirits, things that we didn't want in our lives and in our homes, and we didn't want them to find us, right? Things that were wandering around in the between at this time of year. So one of the things that people like to do also around Halloween is to clear their space, clear their homes, do some kind of a cleansing. So I'm going to give you a little bit of a tip for that if you're going to cleanse your home, which is always a great idea, to periodically, energetically sweep your living space, because we pick up stuff, we pick up energies, we get moods, we get emotional imprints that we leave all over our homes. We might even bring something home with us if we're going in a place where there have been a lot of people with chaos in their lives, or somebody who's recently passed, or anyway, good idea to clear your space periodically. And the easiest and best way to do that is as follows. Open the windows. Yes, even if it's cold, you want to leave at least one good window open as an exit, because you don't want to salt your home and seal in whatever might be there that you don't want. So first, if you can open several windows, that's great. Just one, if it's very cold, that's fine. And then you want to use whatever works best for you. Some people like sage, some people like sweetgrass, whatever incense works best for you. And if for some reason you can't use incense, then you can use some essential oil, maybe in a little spritzy bottle, watered down. But you want to start in the farthest place from the window, or the room farthest from the open windows, and just clear by spraying or waving the smoke around the four corners of the room, or the four walls of the room, however you prefer. And the idea is to exit any energy in that room that is not in your best interest. So one of the things that I like to do when I do any kind of energetic work at all is to say this phrase: may my doors and gates and paths be open, and my doors and gates and paths between the worlds, and may they be closed to any who would harm me or those I love. So I like to say that, clear the space. When every room in the house has been done, then go ahead and close the window or windows. And now you can use a bit of salt. You can lay a few grains of salt, or a whole line of salt if you wish, across the windows and the doorways. Of course, when you do the clearing, you can open the doors as well if it's a warm day. And if you have any suspicion that there's something, you feel something ooky, if there's been some ooky energy around, right? Then another thing you can use, instead of just regular salt, you can get black salt or magnetic salt, and you can lay a line of that at your door and at your windows. So it's very simple to do. It's easy, it doesn't take very long, and it's good for, we'll call it psychic hygiene. Okay. So, having said that, again, especially at this time of year, because the veil is thin, and not just because the veil is thin due to the changing of the seasons, but also because of the practice of many people in many cultures over many, many years of actively reaching through to the other side to commune with ancestors. So it's both the time of year, this liminal time, and also because we humans have been doing practices at this time of year that help the gates to open a little more readily. Okay, so it's really, I think, useful to honor the ancestors. Even if you don't know a lot about your distant ancestors, to honor your parents and grandparents, to perhaps, if you need to, if you've got some issues unresolved with them, to do a little bit of sitting with a lit candle and maybe a photograph of them and chat with them if you need to, or to do some forgiveness work if you need to forgive them for not knowing how to heal their own lives, or forgive them for carrying their issues into your upbringing, or forgive them for not being the parents you had always hoped they would be. So if there's some of that to be done, this is a good time to do it. And then to sit quietly and allow yourself to reach out and make contact, to receive from them whatever gifts they have to offer, whatever information or energy they would like to present you with. Again, positive energy. We're not talking about opening your, if you had an uncle who was a serial killer and you're not sure about how he's doing on the other side, you can leave well enough alone. Chances are pretty good he's either not available or he's been worked with in some way. But look, if you're edgy about anybody on the other side, don't invite him in. It's pretty simple, right? Now you can also just open that door to a time of thanking all of your ancestors all the way back to the beginning of the line, your ancestral line. Obviously, you wouldn't, if any one of them weren't there, you wouldn't be here either. So you can do that as well, and perhaps open yourself up to leaving an offering. So you can offer maybe some of your favorite food, or if your immediate family, if you know things about your family and your ancestors that they say were farmers, maybe something from the fields, maybe a couple ears of corn, maybe if they enjoyed alcohol, you might open a bottle of bourbon and pour somebody a shot and leave it out for a while. You can put a place at the table for them and a photograph of them and let it stay there from, say, the day before Halloween until November 3rd or so. So there are lots of ways to honor and to connect with our beloved dead. And another thing I would suggest, if you would like to do this, is to ask for a dream, to hold the intention from now until November 3rd or 4th, to hold the intention before you go to bed that you'd like to contact or dream with either one of the known dead, or ancestors that perhaps you haven't even known. So you have all kinds of options in there. You could ask to have a meeting with your deceased family members. You could ask to have a visit with a deceased friend. And what I recommend that you do is do that right before you go to bed, and then keep a notebook by the side of the bed. So if something should pop up, sometimes what happens for me is I don't recognize that the person's in the dream until I'm waking up, and then I go, oh my goodness, it's you, right? I just had that happen a few nights ago. I had a dream with somebody, and just as I was waking up, I realized, oh yeah, you're dead. You've been dead. And hey, I'm so glad to see you. This is the first time I've seen you in a dream since you passed. So, and there were things, by the way, in the dream. There were communications in the dream that I verified after the fact that turned out to be true. So, again, I use the term dream loosely because most often when we dream, we're traveling in the dreaming. So it's a real experience. There's actually something happening. And particularly when we're talking about visiting our beloved dead, it often occurs in the dreaming space because it's easier for us there to have the experience without getting frightened. Of course, you can also ask if they would like to deliver a memo when you're fully awake and fully conscious that you will recognize and be open to receiving. You can do that as well. And do it in the same way. Create an intention, perhaps light a candle, maybe put a photograph out of the person, or write a note on a piece of paper and burn it. That's another very easy way to do it. I would like you to connect with me. I miss you. Please let me know that you're close by and that you are aware of me. Simple. And then you burn it and let that intention go to the between. And then just pay attention to the signs and signals around you and see what happens next. And be sure not to dismiss it. Not to say, oh, that's my imagination, but to say, oh, okay, perhaps this is communication. And then maybe something else will happen. And then maybe something unmistakable will happen. So just allow yourself the joy and the stretching of yourself, the awareness that you are a being that actually lives in more than one reality at once. And I think this time of year, because there's such an emphasis put on the energy of the between worlds, that it's a marvelous time to connect with that reality of your own being, and to practice and to play and to have some experiences. Okay, that's all I really wanted to say to you today. I hope you have a lovely Sunday. I hope you tune in next week. On Sunday, next week, the day before Halloween, I'm going to come back and do some more, another presentation on Halloween itself, and we'll do some a little bit of a different kind of practice for working with the energies around this time of year. I hope you have a lovely Sunday, and I'm going to do a separate meditation instead of doing it here so that you can use it separately. And it will be a meditation about communicating or contacting the beloved dead in the between worlds. Just so you know, I'm also going to be putting up information on a class I will be teaching starting the second week, November 9th. So there will be a 4-week class about getting beyond the fears that you might have when you have strange experiences. So I'm going to talk more about that next week. But for now, enjoy your week, enjoy your day, and enjoy visiting with your beloved dead. Bye now. This is Raven Dana, and I'm signing off. You can always look at my website, ravendana.com, if you would like more information or to see other things that are going on. Bye.